Hello, my name is Eric, and I'm your host in this new series of videos on some of the really dirty tricks that people use, to get away with anything, And so, first of all, credit where credit is due, and most of the material that I present in this series of videos comes from a finance journalist called Matt Levine, and he has a regular newsletter that is coming out on Bloomberg. So I just want to say thank you to him for providing all this information. Of course, I have other sources, but the main source is from him. Yeah. And okay, so in video one, the first dirty trick is I call it debt restructuring. And normally debt restructuring is not a dirty trick. It happens all the time. It's a normal course of business. And then, there are some companies that they can slap on a really dirty trick in this, age-old traditional financing method called debt restructuring. Yeah. Okay, so it works like this. So let's say there's a company, and then the company issues some debt. Yeah, and so there are many bondholders who bought this debt. Yeah. And then, but unfortunately, the company, on the maturity date of the debt, the company is not able to repay the debt, to the bondholders, and so therefore, technically speaking, the company is in default, yeah, because the company cannot repay the debt, yeah, for example, the principal and the interest, and so therefore the company is in default, and normally when the company is in default, the company will sit down with the bondholders to do something called debt restructuring, yeah, like for example. Okay, so the company will put out a restructuring plan, like for example, okay, so the company will ask the bondholders, can you give me more time to repay the debt? Like for example, originally the maturity date was 10 years, can you extend that to 20 years? Give me more time to pay, because who knows, in the next 10 years I may have, good business going on, and I may have enough cash to repay the debt, yeah? And then the other way to do is maybe, the company will offer a lower interest rate there on the bond. Yeah, so originally the bond interest, the coupon rate may be 5%, and now the company is asking the bondholders to accept a lower coupon rate of say 2%. Yeah. Another concession that the bondholders can make for the company is maybe the bondholders may take a haircut. Like for example, originally the bond is issued at $100 principal. Yeah. And then the company will say, okay, so can you take a haircut of 10%? That means the bondholder, each bondholder will only get back 90 cents in the dollar. Yeah, things like that. Restructuring plan. Including all these, concessions. To the company. Yeah, and then, but unfortunately, sometimes not all the bondholders will agree to this restructuring plan. So let's say, for example, bondholder one doesn't agree to this restructuring plan. But our bondholder two will say, okay, I'll take this. It's better than nothing. And so therefore, if not all the bondholders are in agreement to this restructuring plan, then the restructuring plan cannot go ahead. Yeah. And so therefore, the bondholders will get nothing, and then the company will be in default, and then everything will be very messy. Yeah. And so what happens is the company will sit down secretly with the bondholder number two. Yeah. The bondholder who agreed to the original restructuring plan. So the bondholder number two will sit down secretly with the company, and then they renegotiate the restructuring plan privately, private to bondholder number one, and so therefore the bondholder number two will say, okay, they sit down with the company in secret, maybe in another state or in another jurisdiction, yeah. They sit down with the company and say, okay, I will accept the original terms in the restructuring plan, like for example, extending the maturity date by 10 years, lowering the coupon rate by 3%, and then I take a haircut of 10 cents in the dollar, things like that, yeah. And then secretly, what they do is they do this, they take the collateral, originally the collateral is to support the debt for both bondholder one and bondholder two, but now they secretly, because bondholder number two is now in secret talks with the company, and so therefore the company will move all the collateral to the secret deal with the bondholder number two, yeah, and so therefore now the restructuring plan will take all the original collateral to support the restructuring plan, and then so therefore now the collateral to support the original restructuring plan has disappeared, and the entirety of the collateral is now going to support the restructuring plan only for bondholder number 2, yeah. So another way to say it is, now you can consider bondholder number 2 to be more senior than bondholder number 1, Originally, the bondholders are ranked equally, yeah, but now since bondholder number 2 is in secret talks with the company, with the secret restructuring plan, and the company has moved all the collateral to support the secret restructuring plan with the bondholder number 2, yeah. So in a sense, then bondholder number 2 is now ranked higher than bondholder number 1, And then you may ask, well, is this legal? I mean, is it legitimate? I mean, are you allowed to do this kind of thing? Of course, not. This is entirely illegal. But who cares? The company certainly doesn't care, and the company will maybe, the company and the bondholder number 2 will move to a new jurisdiction to secretly negotiate this, restructuring plan, and they take together with them all the collateral for the original restructuring plan, And okay, so this is dirty trick number 1, yeah. Okay, I'll go to the dirty trick number 2 in the next video. All right, I'll see you then. Bye.